Welcome to Gen X Unfiltered, where three Gen Xers dig through the emotional junk drawer of life
and turn it into an unhinged group chat about everything from pop culture and personal growth to the stuff we never really unpacked.
If you've ever been told to toughen up, but now cry during commercials, you're our people.
Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of Gen X Unfiltered, the podcast.
What's up, everybody?
Hey.
Steve, Eric, how are you?
Good. How you guys doing?
Doing good, thank you.
There's a fruit fly or something flying around here.
Oh, they happen.
A little protein if one of us catches it.
Yeah,
delicious.
they're little bitches to catch.
Yeah, 'tis the season now, the warm weather.
Yeah.
But today, excuse me, I was like 22 seconds in and I'm already getting a hoarse throat. But today, we are counting down the top 10 Gen X TV dads, the father figures who raised us, grounded us, and sometimes traumatized us just a little bit, all between commercial breaks.
Oh, very cool. A little bit of a Father's Day theme today.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
Father's Day is
When
coming
is
up.
Father's Day?
Ooh, it's
It's in June. Is it the 17th or the 21st
middle
or
of
something?
June,
Oh my
yeah.
God, I totally thought Father's Day was over. I was like, wait a minute.
Nope.
No.
Mother's Day come and gone, but
Yeah.
Father's Day coming up in a couple of weeks, so this will be out just in time for Father's Day.
Yeah.
Happy early Father's Day.
Yeah, for all you dads out there, we're going to go over some of the best TV dads of all time.
There's some good ones out there.
Yeah.
So obviously for the generations that we're talking about, I mean, mostly for us and our age bracket of Gen X Unfiltered is 80s, 90s, sort of as the eras, the decades that we focus on.
Yeah.
I went to the little internet because it's the best tool sometimes to get that, creative juices flowing. And they pumped out a list of their top 10 TV dads from those decades.
Cool. Yeah, because it's easy to forget. There's so many TV shows over the years. It's easy to kind of forget.
So whether or not we agree with it, we will find out. They put them in order from 10 to 1. So worst, I mean, not worst, but out of the 10, this is how they got their order. So we'll see if we think it's accurate or not.
So whoever gets read first is the worst.
I guess.
I'm just joking. The worst of the best, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just the top 10. You're not going to put number one first.
That's right.
So without further ado, who is
So
number one on this list?
Number 10.
Number 10, sorry.
We literally just had 30-second discussion about the top 10 in
The first
order.
one we're going to read.
All right, number 10 is Tony Maselli, who's the boss.
Who is the boss?
Who is the boss?
Why did he make this list? He's a single dad who worked as a live-in housekeeper. That was revolutionary in the 80s.
It's true. Yeah.
A single dad who works too hard.
Well, so, I mean, if you think about it, it's true because he flipped the script on gender roles. He cooked, he cleaned, and parented like a champ, all while rocking short shorts. Okay, I don't know about that internet, but that's what they said.
I don't remember
I'm
short
sure.
shorts.
I mean, it was the 80s. I'm
You know,
sure.
I mean, it was the 80s, so I think every guy wore short shorts. It was just kind of a thing, but yeah.
Yeah,
So
look at Rocky 3.
That's that is very true. I mean, in the 80s especially, there was no male. I shouldn't say there wasn't, but if there wasn't very many male housekeepers.
Well, especially regardless of what happened in real life, but in terms of what's on television, the man was always the breadwinner, really.
Well, but not even that. So he was a housekeeper in a house with a single mom who was super successful.
That's
so
right.
there's lots of
Angela Bowers.
Exactly. He didn't work for a man, he worked for a woman.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Which at the time, was a big deal.
And it led to tons of hijinks.
Oh, and romance.
That's right.
Tony Maselli. I mean Tony Maselli. Something's bumping and I don't know who's bumping what.
It's you hitting your microphone stand.
I'm literally not touching it though. Do you hear it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's your chair moving.
It's your chair.
Okay, I'm just.
Your chair's bumping the stand, I
Yes.
think. It was just bumping this.
Apologies, everyone listening. I'm sure that was
Sorry.
fun to hear.
You could hear, but no, but I was just driving me crazy where it was coming from because I wasn't touching anything.
No, I know,
anyway,
yeah,
it stopped. So yeah, that was definitely. I don't know why he got the number 10 ranking, but we'll see who the
That
other
is
one
good. I
got.
loved Who's the Boss as a kid. I watched it all the time. That was a
Oh,
great show.
Same. It was just a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Bonus points if you can sing a line from the theme song. I could sing along with it if it was on right now.
Oh, God. There were times I lost a dream or two.
Brand
Ride
new
the
life.
trail, and at the end was you.
Yeah. There's
And
a
it was like,
road
brand
to
new
take
life.
and a road less.
Brand new life.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
the end, brand new life around the bend.
He's always living. He went from New Jersey to Connecticut,
No, he was like in like Brooklyn or something.
the Bronx to
The
like
Bronx.
into like
Yeah.
Connecticut or something, right?
Yeah.
Like a real
Yeah.
sort of wealthy, affluent area.
He was a former athlete, a baseball player.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Because in the opening, the secret of the big him going for the slide.
Yeah, exactly. The big dive for
that's
home plate.
right. Yeah.
Brand new life around. And I gotta go watch that show.
And it blew up. Alyssa Milano was huge after that. She's kind of the only one that
Was
really.
she like? Would you classify her as huge?
Back
In the
then,
90s,
yeah,
she was
absolutely.
big,
Of course
yeah.
I would, yeah.
Okay, Steve just got like viscerally angry
Well, no,
at
but
that.
you're just so like dismissive
Well,
of it
no,
all.
but I
But
was
she
just
was
like, was
massive.
she? Like,
Alyssa
I don't.
Milano, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I obviously didn't seek her out like I'm sure you fine-blooded
Well, no, but I'm
men
saying she
did.
was all over. Like she was all over the place on those
She
like
was in
teen magazines and stuff like
Yeah,
Maybe
she
that.
was
she-
all over teen magazines.
Yeah.
She was in that Charmed TV show.
Maybe you should have
Yeah, that's
included
right.
her in your crush list.
Yeah, she wasn't on the list, but
Maybe she's an honorable mention.
yeah, probably. But yeah, no, she was definitely like huge back in the day. It was a big show.
Yeah, she dated Justin Timberlake for a bit too.
Really?
What?
Yeah.
Well, that's
I think you're full of shit. I need to Google that because
Please do.
Alyssa Milano dated Justin
Yeah,
Timberlake.
in like the late 90s, early 2000s.
That was like Britney era.
Yeah, before Britney. I think before, maybe after Britney. But there were a
Yeah.
thing.
Is this like the time that you thought that who was that guy was supposed to be in that? Oh, that who was the guy he said was supposed to be in Bad Boys?
oh
David Schwimmer.
Oh my
David
You
god.
thought
Yeah.
David Schwimmer was in Bad Boys?
I got the wrong Will Smith movie mixed up. He was supposed to be in
Men in Black. But big
Yeah.
difference. I don't know.
yeah.
We'll have to fact check that
Feel
one.
free to Google.
Like, they date or like went on a date, or was it a publicity thing?
I'm not as in his life. I don't know.
Actually,
I just saw them like it was on TMZ. They were together.
You're so full of crap, and
Maybe
you're
on
not
TMZ,
thinking
whatever, like,
of the right person.
Please Google. I swear to God. Please Google right now.
Okay, Google, because now.
All right, go on to the next one. I'll Google it.
Okay, so number 9. I never watched this show, so I don't really know. Was Howard Cunningham from Happy Days. Why he made the list, the OG of wholesome dads. Mr. C gave us early sitcom dad energy, calm, practical, and always ready with a moral or a milkshake.
Yeah. So Happy Days was sort of like it was a throwback to a time that never really existed, but it was very nostalgia-ist, kind of like idealist of like 1950s for people that they remember in their mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
But
loved
like,
Happy Days
I never
too.
watched
Yeah.
Happy Days.
That was like early in the that was like in the 70s, right?
Yeah, I went to the early 80s. I'm not sure when it jumped the shark there because that was the show that literally jumped the shark.
That's where it all came from.
Yeah.
What
was,
do you mean it jumped the shark?
Fonzie tried to jump
it was like a water ski competition or something.
Yeah, he tried to jump over a bunch of sharks or something like that.
Yeah.
And everyone said that was like where Happy Days kind of became a
Oh,
bit
I
of a
didn't know
joke.
that's
Became
where it
lame.
came from.
Yeah.
So that's why the term "jump the shark" it refers to that specific episode.
Okay,
of,
but that aside, what was Mr. C like? Was he like a dad that you like? I wish he was my
He
dad.
was just like the moral compass of the
Yeah,
show. He
I
always
always
come with like the lesson at the
yeah,
end.
Tom Bosley.
Was
yeah.
he strict?
I think he has the high
He was a bit of a
morals,
hard-
I'll say.
Yeah, I think he was like, I don't.
I think
yeah,
he had a kind of a soft side. Like I don't think he came down hard on the kids.
I don't think so. Yeah, I'm
But
trying
they
to
just
like.
respected him.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, this back in the 50s, everyone respected their parents back then.
exactly. They ruled the roost.
That's right. Yeah, you didn't backtalk. You get to.
No.
I can see on the laptop that there's a picture of Justin Timberlake and Alyssa Milano.
It says they dated briefly in 2002.
Okay. Can we talk? So it was after Britney, but can we also talk about the fact that like you literally cannot remember like somebody you met 5 minutes ago, but
Yeah.
you remember that Alyssa Milano and Justin Timberlake just briefly dated.
The mysteries of the mind.
It's who knows?
I can't explain what
'Cause you
sticks and what doesn't.
Were you searching Alyssa Milano content back in the day, and you're like, ooh, dating Justin Timberlake?
I cannot confirm that's the cause.
Oh my gosh. All right, so Howard Cunningham, he was a good
Yeah,
dad.
that's a solo. I don't know if I would have thought of him, to be honest. And yeah, no, good choice.
This is why we use the internet as a tool. It
That's
helps.
right, because yeah, you forget about show. And Happy Days is a massive show.
All right, number 8. I know of this show. I never watched this show either. But George Jefferson, the Jeffersons, why he made the list. A self-made businessman with a sharp tongue and a big heart. George was loud, proud, and unapologetically black at a time when TV didn't often showcase that. And apparently he always kept Lionel in check.
Speaking of theme songs, this show had a great one too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That was the bees
What's
don't
that
burn. Bees don't burn on the griddle or whatever it was.
I don't think I've ever heard that shit.
Was that it? Oh no, it was.
Was it moving on up?
Yeah, what was the bees don't burn on the griddle? That was for.
Was it Apartment 2, whatever?
No, I can't remember. I'm getting mixed up now.
Focus.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no. I thought that was the.
No, I know. I'm kidding.
But yeah, I'm trying to remember was that moving on up?
Yeah, moving on up to the east side.
Yeah.
A deluxe apartment in the sky.
I used to watch the Jeffersons too. I always liked it.
But like, was he a
Sherman Helmsley was hilarious.
good dad? Like, was he like,
I didn't even remember there were kids on.
well, who's
I-
Lionel?
Well, obviously his kids, yeah.
Oh.
I'm just saying, like, I remember watching the Jeffersons,
Yeah.
but I don't.
I was super
remember.
little watching Jeffersons.
Yeah, I
like,
just remember George
reruns.
and what was his wife name? Wheezy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty like amazing in the 70s to have a show that was like a black family.
Yeah, and it was a spin-off of something too, wasn't it?
All in the
Jefferson?
Family.
It was All in the Family.
Yeah.
I was gonna
Oh,
say, it
he
was, like
was
a
the
spin-off.
neighbor guy
Yeah.
or the
Yeah.
friend.
Yeah,
Mike
yeah.
grew up in a house where my grandparents and parents watched All in the Family all the time.
Yes, a lot of people love
I
All
don't
in the
think
Family.
I don't think Archie Bunker made this list.
Probably not, because he was an old miserable prick.
Yeah, he was a parody of bigoted USA.
Yeah, exactly.
All
yeah.
right, let's go on to number 7.
Yep.
Al Bundy, Married with Children. Why he made the list? A dad you never want, but somehow couldn't stop watching. He hated his life, his job, and most of his family, but he loved a good couch nap and terrible joke. Somehow we related. I mean, I don't know if he'd say he was
Interesting choice. Like, you don't think of him as like
No.
top dad material.
Yeah.
no.
But he did like love his family and stuff. I think I remember in episodes like him punching people because they were like
Yeah.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, picking on the Bundys.
Well, he went and slaved away at a
Shoe store.
shoe store.
That's
for
true.
8 or 10 hours. He hated his life, but he did it for his family.
That's
Yeah.
true.
I see
mean-
that a lot. They see the memes being like, making fun like that was considered like they were considered like quote unquote like poor
Yeah.
back in like the 80s, but it's like they had like a
You see,
house and a garage and like a
TV.
big house.
yeah,
And had a good job. Like had a job that paid the bills and
it was a good sized house too. And they do that exterior shot of like their home.
Yeah.
Like it's like it looks like 3 bedrooms, like a big garage.
yeah. So that's what they say. But back then they had, they were supposed to be kind of like lower
Yeah.
middle class, whatever.
Well,
Yeah.
I guess he's not a conventional good dad. Like he's not a,
no,
Mr.
he
Cunningham.
was. He would always,
No, he had like definitely a sleazy side to him.
yeah.
Yeah, so I guess he wasn't like a
No,
Mr.
no,
Cunningham.
no, he
No,
definitely-
he was like the antithesis of like the Mr. Cunningham.
Oh yeah, Mr. Cunningham would never like leer at women in through windows and
Oh
No,
yeah,
yeah.
Al Bundy
Yeah.
was kind of a dirtbag. Although I did watch the show.
He
Ooh,
was. Remember, no, ma'am. I can't remember that. I can't
Is,
remember the acronym for it. Was
yeah.
it was
ma'am,
the
but-
Man's Club, wasn't
Is
it?
that is it
Yeah.
a men's only club?
Yeah, yeah.
Now I do know the theme song to that. I mean, who doesn't?
Well, yeah, it was Frank Sinatra. Yeah,
Love
Love
and
and Marriage.
Love and marriage.
It's an institute you can't disparage. Ask the local
Local
gentry.
gentry.
They will say it's Ella.
What's a gentry?
I have no
I
idea.
think it's like a gentleman. I think or
Oh,
something. I don't know.
Well, clearly I could do all these songs if it played. I could do it.
No, well, that's the thing. Yeah, I mean, Marriage. That's something I watched. I think like the entire time it was on. 'Cause it was on Fox, wasn't it?
It was on like Sunday nights, I think. After
Yeah. I
football
remember
and
Sunday
stuff.
nights.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure it was on Fox.
Oh, it's definitely on Fox. Yeah.
But
Our-
I loved out. I thought, I loved Married Children. It was a great show.
Me too.
All right, number 6.
Yep.
Tim the Toolman Taylor, Home Improvement. Why he made the list? The suburban dad who destroyed everything, including his ego. Commentary. I don't know why I said that, 'cause that's not part of the sentence. He grunts, explosions, advice from a neighbor he could barely see. Tim was chaos wrapped in plaid, and we loved it. But I think also, like, the thing with Tim that makes him, quote unquote, a good TV dad is he always had really good intentions.
Yeah.
Like, he was like a lovable doof, but like not stupid, but like just
absent-minded.
yeah. Like he just,
Yeah, he was definitely kind of like the fool, right? He's kind of like
Yeah.
one of like the first in the line of like the men are idiots and the wife's the keeping things together.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
there's like
well, let's be real. That's probably
oh, I'm not
accurate.
saying it's not,
Oh,
not
I
accurate.
think that's
but,
probably
like,
very accurate
if you
in
think
many
of like
cases, yeah.
what came in the late '90s after that, like Everybody Loves Raymond and then
Yeah.
the King of Queens, they're all
Yeah.
kind of the same mold. Like the husband's a doof.
Well, one of the
Yeah.
things, like, Everybody Loves Raymond, that show, like, I actually felt that show was like to the super extreme of making the husband the idiot. Like, that was just like annoying.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Like, I get the stereotype, but that
Yeah.
was like, excessive.
his wife always like had like a look on her face, and he understood when she had to deal with Raymond all day long. Like
Yeah,
he literally
well-
couldn't do it. He was helpless.
Well, not
Yeah.
only that, but he was also sort of the stereotypical Italian, right? So he had the mother across the street.
Oh,
the
yeah,
older
that's
very
true.
Italian mother who was always around and stuff like that too.
That's true.
So
Yeah.
always
Yeah.
fighting with the women in his life and stuff.
But
But I'm gonna
yeah.
call you out here.
Oh,
Tim was chaos wrapped in plaid. Al Borland was the guy in plaid. Tim was always in like a.
well,
Dress-
don't call me out. Call the internet out.
Oh,
I'm just saying, is Al Borland was the man, and he
Yeah,
was
I
sort of like
forgot
the
about
moral
him.
compass there too. He was the brains of that show,
Well, it
right?
was, and like I said, I don't think.
Kelly 0 boys.
Okay. Tim
One.
was always like, he always, I'm just trying to think of how to explain what I'm trying to say. He always was trying to, like, I I don't know if take shortcuts. It wasn't shortcuts, but he was always trying to get away with like sneaky stuff, not like bad stuff, but just like
No, well, that's
like
was
he
not,
would like
yeah.
he would try like be like, oh, fix. I mean, my parents were.
Yeah, we tried to supercharge
obsessed.
everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Remember
I can
the-
make the dishwasher 10 times more powerful.
It was like the very
Yeah.
first episode was the dishwasher episode. My parents were obsessed with Home Improvement. Like it was on my
Yeah.
house
That show
all the
was-
time.
It was massive. It
That's
was
what,
number
like,
one.
and Tim Allen too. Like in talking, like he still had, like, you know, he's still. I think he's still on. There was that Last Man Standing or whatever it was.
Yeah, he's been on a bunch of
But-
sitcoms since then.
But he was huge in the
Yeah.
90s,
Yeah.
like with the whole time and
The
the
Santa
Santa
Claus.
Claus and stuff. He was a massive star.
yeah, exactly.
It also got the start for our Canadian girl, Pamela Anderson.
That's right, the Tool Time
She was
girl.
on that before Baywatch.
She
That's
was
right,
the
yeah.
original Tool Time girl. Didn't
That's
she
right.
leave it for Baywatch?
I think so.
I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure she did.
Yeah, I think she made the right choice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
Well, then
Yeah.
the other girl was on there for a while, though. The brunette. What was
Oh,
her name?
yeah.
Deborah? Was it Deborah?
oh,
Yeah, it was.
Deborah
If
Dunn.
you got
Debbie
whoever's
Dunning.
Debbie Dunning, right? Yeah.
Whoever is editing this needs to zoom in on Eric's face when I said her name was Debbie. Where he's like, Debbie, yeah. literally, his face went from like RBF to like Debbie, yeah.
I just know I'm gonna get shit on because I'm like, of all the things I remember Debbie Dunning's name is like.
No, I remember
uh-oh.
too, yeah.
You can't remember like anything.
No, because you remember girls that you thought were hot and went on the internet to search for.
That's possibly the truth. Yeah.
See, exactly.
The internet
Yeah.
it was in its infancy.
It was.
Well, but you
towards the
can
end of that
still,
show,
or
but
you
I'm just-
looked in magazines or whatever you did. But somebody needs to zoom in on Eric's face because it was a classic, like literally, like, oh yeah, Debbie Dunning, and then he went back to a straight face.
I came back. I disassociated for a minute there.
Yeah,
I, came,
you did.
I left my body, but I'm back
You
now.
went back to, like, 15
sitting
years
sitting
old.
on your parents' living room floor watching that at like 8
Oh
o'clock
my
at
I
night.
God.
sure do love the Home Improvement show for Tim Allen's comedy.
That's
Yeah.
exactly it. There,
Yeah.
Tim knew what he was doing. He had a little
Yeah.
eye candy in there for the dads watching.
Yeah.
I don't think he was much of a disciplinary in that show. It was definitely the
No.
mom. What was her name? Like the character's name, not
Pam Dauber? No.
not
Oh, it's gonna bug me
Tim
now. Tim and
oh my god.
I can see her
I can
too with
see
the,
him-
with the
I can
dark
see him
hair.
saying
Patricia
her name.
Richardson was her
Yeah,
name,
I
know.
right? Yeah.
But her character name, I can see him saying, "Oh my god, they're all yelling at us right now."
Oh,
listening.
I know, because it's bugging me because I can't.
Tim and
I'm not gonna remember.
I
No,
can't
I'm
remember.
totally
but that's
spacing
you know
on her
let's move on from that.
And you got
No.
the 3 kids too.
Yeah, 3 kids, but yeah, I definitely think Tim was not the disciplinarian.
That was the kids with all
No,
the 3
no.
real names, like Jonathan Taylor
oh
Thomas,
the
right.
3
Zachary,
name, the 3 name
something.
trend.
And they just recently,
Taryn Noah Smith.
yeah, because they just recently
He just got arrested. Not him, the oldest one. I don't forget his real name. He just got arrested for.
Zachary Ty Bryant or something.
Yeah, he got arrested for.
Again, he's had a few run-ins with the law. I think.
He looks. I mean, aside from Jonathan Taylor Thomas, like the other 2 just kind of disappeared. Didn't that young kid marry some older woman?
Yeah, he
I
made
remember that coming up.
a
Like,
much older woman,
like when he
like
was
his
like
mother's
20,
age.
married like a
Yeah.
50-year-old or something like
Yeah.
that. This is like
We need
obviously,
to-
like this is probably like 20 years.
I
Like, this is
need-
a long time ago.
I
don't know
need
what
to
he's-
Google the status on that.
maybe if Tim was a better father figure,
That's
True.
right.
these boys would be in better shape
But
today.
then Jonathan Taylor Thomas was popular, so
He was
That's
another
true.
one too. He really took
he
off.
was the
too.
shit in the
yeah,
90s.
oh,
Whatever
yeah.
happened to him? I'm guessing he left.
He just, I don't know if
think
he
he just
stepped
kinda
away
aged out 'cause-
or what. Yeah.
Because he never really got out of that like teen actor phase.
Well, hopefully he saved his home improvement money.
Oh,
hope
I'm
so.
sure he probably did all right for himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it
Because
depends.
he had a pretty big movie career too. And
he
then
was
just,
the voice of Simba and the Lion King, and
Oh, that's
yeah.
right.
That's
he was
right.
in that some Christmas movie. Was it All I Want for Christmas or something?
Yeah.
Yeah,
With
there was-
Jessica
yeah.
Biel.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, that too.
Oh, she
Yeah.
in that movie too?
And he was. I don't know if that was the movie, but he was in a movie with her.
That might have been that movie.
The one where they were in college and then he drives her home or
That's
something.
got to be it. They would all be home for Christmas or something.
Yeah,
right?
something like that.
Eric
I don't know if I ever
acting
saw that movie.
I liked it. It was cute. Wow, my voice. Sorry, guys.
Do you want some water?
I'm getting over a cold, so my voice gets horsey every so often. Okay, are we ready to go to number 5?
ready.
Let's do it.
We are down to the Fab 5, guys.
Ready.
Jason Seaver, Growing Pains. Why he made the list? The dad who literally made therapy cool. He worked from home before it was a trend, helped his kids through angst, and made Alan Thicke a household name. I would say Jason Seaver was a pretty good TV dad. I feel like from what I remember of that show, that was one of the shows where him and, was it Maggie?
Yes,
Jason and
Seaver.
Maggie.
Maggie Seaver,
were pretty equal in their roles in the household. I feel obviously he worked. She didn't. Well, no, she ended up working at a news station.
She did something too, didn't? Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah.
But it was fairly equal. Like it wasn't the whole like Home Improvement, Everybody Loves Raymond dynamic. Like they were pretty like
no, they were definitely both.
They both disciplined.
Yeah,
they both,
yeah.
I definitely think so. Yeah, I just definitely he wasn't the focus of the show though. It was really more the son, I guess, right? But
I think it was
besides
the
point.
whole family.
Because I'm trying to. Well, yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, I'm off the rails. I got nothing much to say about Jason Seaver.
He was great. I love that show. Yeah, that's a great thought. I don't know if he didn't make the list, but I was wondering because he wrote the theme song to Different Strokes, another great.
But do you
TV
remember?
dad.
Do you remember the Growing Pains theme song? Was there words?
Yeah, it was like "Show Me That Smile"
Oh, again. Show me that smile.
Oh yeah, it was yeah. It was
I don't know
that's
the
back when they had like
words.
real theme songs
Yeah,
with
they
like
did.
words and like lyrics and
Yeah.
stuff. And
that was that show is one of the first shows that I watched that I remember that had a lot of real life issues in it.
oh yeah, it dealt with a lot of
Like it did. Like remember when Carol's boyfriend died, Sandy, R.I.P. Matthew
That's
Perry.
right, Matthew Perry. Yeah, that's right.
Because he was he drinking?
Yeah.
I remember that scene where the hospital calls Kirk Cameron and he has to tell her and she gets all mad and starts hitting him
That's
like,
right.
you're
She
lying.
thinks he's lying. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they dealt with that. I mean, Tracy Gold had
She had
a
some-
horrible
eating
eating
disorder.
disorder that they talked about early in the show, but then near the end of the show, because she was off of it for a bit because
That's
she
right,
was
yeah.
so sick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. I forgot. And there was also the other. I always forget. There's that third brother too, the youngest one, Ben Seaver, right? And then
Leo.
Luke.
No, but then they had Chrissy.
That's right,
Oh,
Chris as
Chrissy,
well
yeah.
too. That's right. I
And that
forgot
was
about.
Leonardo DiCaprio's like coming out party, that show.
Yeah, that was his big
I think
break.
that's the first time I remember seeing him. Was
Oh, yeah.
on that. Yeah,
I mean,
remember
that
later
was-
on when he started being in movies, it's like
That's the guy from Growing Pains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, they did talk about how Jason was a therapist or psychiatrist because his office was in the
that's
house.
right. He worked in his office is like in the front of the house, or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I can't remember if Maggie always worked as a news reporter or later she worked as a news
I
reporter.
feel like she went back to work.
I feel like she went
Yeah.
back to work
Yeah.
too. I think
Yeah.
I remember that being part of the storyline.
Remember
yeah.
the nanny or the housekeeper they got? Julie? I don't
Yeah.
know why I
Yeah,
remember
the
so much
blonde
of that
girl,
show.
right?
was
yeah.
there a friend named Boner?
Yeah.
Yeah, Boner Stallone.
Oh my god.
Yeah. All I know is
Because didn't Kurt Cameron? He's married to that.
Chelsea, not
Yeah.
the blonde girl, Chelsea.
Chelsea
his
Noble.
girlfriend. That he was
That
girlfriend
girlfriend on the
later in
show.
the
that
show. Yeah.
was it. Yeah.
Kurt Cameron's a little.
Yeah, he's
I mean, whatever. Teach their own.
He's
but
he's very strong in his beliefs.
yes,
He is.
absolutely. Yeah, good way
He
to say it, yeah.
is.
But I Growing Pains is a great show.
I
loved
like
it
that show. I haven't
watching that
seen
as
it.
a kid.
and
we got a
so
poster issue.
well, it's a good time to take a break.
All right, let's reset the camera, and we will be right back while Kelly gets this
Bye.
poster off. If you guys are watching or not watching, this poster's on Kelly's head. We'll be back.
All right, we're back after that perfectly timed blooper.
It was
that-
exciting, yeah. The
It
poster.
was. I like how it was a slow roll too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I could see Eric staring at it. And I was like, oh.
Instead of Eric being like, "Oh wait, hold on, it's falling," he just stared until it fell.
Well, because I saw the one corner pop. I'm like, okay, we have to go to break soon. I'm like, we could fix it on break. I'm like, no, we can't fix it on break. It's busted now.
All right, Jason Seaver. I would say he definitely deserves to be in the top the top Fab Five.
Yeah, I wouldn't argue with that. I think he
No,
was
I
a
think
solid
he was.
TV dad, yeah.
He had good advice. He would take the time to talk to his kids. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 4, Danny Tanner, Full House. Why he made the list? Widowed. Okay, that's why he made.
That's right. I remember that.
Widowed,
yeah.
overwhelmed, and armed with Lysol. Okay. He gave the most emotional pep talks of all time and somehow made parenting 3 kids look like a Hallmark card with help, of course.
Well, that's the thing, I guess.
Yeah,
there's-
I mean, I would say Danny Tanner was a good. I mean, Danny Tanner was annoying AF. I'm not gonna lie, he was the worst character on that show.
He was
Yeah.
very, yeah.
He was like nails on the chalkboard. Every time he came on screen,
my
I was
God.
like, oh, God, here
Yeah.
comes Danny Tanner.
I mean, R.I.P. Bob
No,
Saget. but-
Bob Saget was hilarious. Like, you watch his stand up
Yeah.
and that. Like, he was great, and he was on like Entourage
But
and
I
a bunch of
mean,
other stuff.
it's,
Like,
it's hilarious because I knew him from Full House. I had no idea his stand up was so dirty.
yeah,
I thought like him on Full House was who he was.
yeah,
But
yeah,
from
he really-
like
yeah.
from like overall like dad role, like yeah, he cared about his kids. He was a widow. He got help, and you know he supported them, and yada yada yada. But like yeah, he wasn't really like he was
Well, he
just
played like a real
over the
tight
top.
ass on the show. Like, he
Yeah.
was super obsessed with like cleaning and germs, and like, you know, he's a real tight ass, and that's what you needed.
OCD.
You had
Yeah.
Jesse and
Joey.
Joey as like the, you know,
Yeah.
His foils.
the fun and the rocker, you know.
The
It's sort of the
rocker.
polar opposites of Danny Tanner.
But yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, he gave good advice and he always, talked to his kids. Every episode had that 2-minute section with the music
Oh,
about
I
like
know.
nice and like
No,
slow.
Stephanie, don't drive the car through the kitchen again.
That's
Yeah,
right. Yeah,
Michelle.
Little Michelle, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it definitely was good for the target audience.
Oh,
right?
again, I was right in the wheelhouse. I watched Full House.
I watched it religiously.
No, I
like,
watched
Yeah.
all the way through to the end.
Everywhere you look.
Another great theme song,
everywhere
yeah.
You look.
Sing the rest.
I don't know it.
Whatever
unless-
happened to
Predictability.
predictability?
The milkman, the
the
paper
paperboy,
boy,
the
evening
evening
TV.
Well, there you go. You need something to get you started.
But I don't know the
Yeah.
next line.
No, but again, another classic theme
Yeah.
song. Yeah, that was a great show. And I don't know. I think that was on for them. It's been on for like 10 years, maybe
I think it was only
10
like
seasons, something like that.
10 seasons. I remember them saying that the 10th season, they actually didn't know it was going to be the last season until halfway through. That's why the final episode was so shitty.
You hear that it happens a lot
Yeah.
to these shows where they kind of don't. They hadn't. It wasn't like a predefined like, hey, this is going to
Yeah.
be 7 seasons. This is the whole arc.
Yeah.
It was kind of like they were just doing it as
Yeah.
they go, and all of a sudden someone's like, hey, you're canceled. It's like, oh crap, we got to wrap this
Because
thing up.
remember
Yeah.
in the last season, like
Let's just blow up the house.
remember in the last season, Michelle rode a horse and got amnesia for like a couple episodes and
Oh,
didn't remember
Jesus.
anything.
I vaguely remember this.
Like it was stupid.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
whole.
but that's
you know.
yeah. I mean, well, because then remember they had like Jesse and his wife, and they had kids living up in the attic and stuff
Twin
like that.
Obviously,
too.
they had to live there.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. So like once they had
That's-
other kids and all this stuff, and
Whenever
it's
they add new kids, it's a sign the show's run its course.
just, yeah,
Yeah.
that's usually the sign of the
Yeah.
show. It's like, oh, okay.
But it was,
here we
a,
go.
it was a big deal on TJF for a while, that show.
Oh yeah, it was huge.
I was
Yeah,
a
Saved by the
Kimmy Gibbler fan. Would she say Tanneritos?
She- Gibbler, she's the
Tannerita,
worst.
I know,
Obviously,
she
she was
was so
annoying. But I'm
Ugh.
just saying. I just,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think there's one character. I mean, like Joey and Jesse were okay, but like even all the girls were just annoying.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean,
looking
They all,
back.
they all had their catchphrase, which was kind of like an annoying thing.
yeah.
Oh yeah, but
Was it "You Got It, Dude"? Or
yeah,
Yeah.
pin a
Yeah.
rose on your nose.
Yeah, how rude.
How rude,
rude.
Stephanie? Yeah.
I liked Joey's though. Cut it out.
Cut it out, yeah.
Yeah.
Still weird that he was dating Lance Morissette. There's a whole weird thing there.
Yeah,
Why
sure.
is that
Sure,
weird?
wrote a great
Well, 'cause
album
he was
about their
like-
breakup.
Wasn't she like, she was like 18, he was like 30 or something like that?
Oh, I don't know.
They had a big age gap.
Yeah.
I didn't know the age gap.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as she was legal, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Just
wasn't
a
anything
weird-
like illegal. It was
Even
just
just
yeah.
random, the fact that, this like angst rocker chicken.
But
Yeah.
he
It's
Joey
like, you guys run in the
Joey
same
Glad-
circles.
Joey
Like, how do you mean?
Gladstone, yeah.
he introduced Candace Cameron to her husband, and they're still married today.
She's married to Valerie Bure, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
He seems kind of like a weird tight ass, though. It's
Yeah.
on he's not on Instagram, but she is, and like sometimes she'll like show him. He's very European. Like
Russian,
I think he's.
his brother,
But
the
that's what I
Russian
think-
rocket,
Yeah.
Pavel Bure, one of
I-
the best to do it.
I think he's just very much like they put the camera on him, and he's kind of just like
Yeah.
doesn't have a
Very
lot of
stoic.
outward personality.
Yeah.
No,
But anyway,
I'm a former hockey player.
That's right.
was he good?
Not as good as his brother.
No,
his
Pavel
brother
Bure
was, like, next
Pavel Bure
level.
was like
Yeah.
probably one of the best Russian players ever. So unfortunate for him. Yeah.
I guess that's why she's out there hustling now. Because
I'm sure he did just fine, but yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah,
All
no,
right.
it was definitely no Pavel.
let's go to number 3.
Yep.
Carl Winslow, Family Matters, why he made the list, the dad who kept it together while Urkel literally blew up the living room.
Oh, Urkel.
Carl had the patience of a saint, the discipline of a cop, and the best dad sigh on TV. I'd give him that.
I'm not sure about the patience. He didn't lose his shit all the time.
Yeah,
I think
he
so.
did.
Yeah. He always yelled at Steve Urkel, right?
Yeah.
Like, get in my house and
Yeah.
But maybe with his own kids.
Yeah.
yeah.
Didn't they have a kid on that show that just disappeared?
Judy, she went up the stairs and never came back.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's like a
what
freaking
happened to
episode.
Judy? We don't talk about
It's like
Judy.
it's like Days of Our Lives or something like that. Someone
She
just
literally
disappears.
just went out. But didn't they have I don't know if it was from the start of the show or they brought it in after Judy mysteriously disappeared. But wasn't there an aunt who had a kid?
Yeah. They had like the little nephew.
The nephew.
The little kid did
The
like the
little
little Michael
curly-haired
Jackson
kid.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that from the start of the show or was that after Judy left?
I think it was the start. I
Oh,
think.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember, but definitely I remember the aunt because she was on some other shows too, like 227 or something like that.
Yeah.
One
Yeah.
of those other shows too. But yeah, I remember she had the kid too.
But yeah, he was a cop. I mean, I don't.
That's right, he was a cop. Yeah, I was thinking he was a garbage man. That was remember Rock?
Oh yeah, I remember that show.
Yeah,
I don't-
that's right. He was the cop.
I remember, Carl Winslow being a decent dad.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think he went to bat for his. I think he had one of those very special episodes where his son was like wrongfully accosted by the police and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Poor Eddie.
Yeah. So Carl stood up then and did what was right. So
Yeah.
big dad moment for him there.
Yeah.
Also a very important episode too. So.
Yeah. Well, it was a very special episode.
Do we remember what that theme song was?
Oh geez, Family Matters. Did it have any words to it?
I have no idea.
I don't remember.
It sounded a lot like the Full House theme song.
Yeah, that's what I feel
Yeah.
like. Because
It
it
was
even
pretty
showed the
close.
front of the house at the beginning.
Yeah, it was very similar.
Yeah. Oh man.
I remember the piano part is like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, maybe it didn't
And then
have
that intro's into like, it's a rare condition this day and age to something on the newspaper page.
You literally just said I don't think it has words. I think it's just
No, I said
No.
I wasn't sure if it did.
so it has words.
It has words, yeah.
Okay.
Isn't that as days go by?
Oh,
Yeah, it's
yes,
a bigger love of the family.
yeah.
Okay, I
That's
remember
it.
now.
Days
Yeah.
go by.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. No, I was just like, oh man, I know, but I can't think of it. But
All right.
that was a good one. Yeah, Carla Winslow too. It's actually kind of cool too, as because you see it's like it almost starts with like the Jeffersons. Traditionally before that it was all white families, but it's
Yeah.
nice. They had these shows where it was,
And not even
black
that.
families and everyone could watch it.
Oh,
and-
but not only that, like same with the Jeffersons, but a black family, where the parents
and
had successful jobs.
Well, that's what I was going to say too. Exactly. Like, they were working. He was a cop. I can't remember what the mother
She
was.
worked, I think,
But,
though.
like,
The aunt had a diner, I think, right?
Yeah, but the mom worked,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I can't remember what the mom did though.
but,
know.
but it was just nice
Jesus,
to see,
yeah. The mom was that was
Was
Family
she-
Matters was a spin-off from Perfect Strangers.
Was it?
Yeah.
I was going to say, I know some of these shows were
And
spin-offs from other.
the mom worked in the office where cousin
Oh,
Larry
that's
worked.
right.
Oh, yeah.
But was
yeah,
she the
yeah.
same character on Family Matters?
That's a good question. And I remember it was a spin-off. I think it was vaguely
I'm
like
guessing it
something.
must have been maybe the same
Yeah.
name,
Yeah.
but obviously because I can't imagine that
Yeah.
she would never talk about her family and
No.
stuff like that. But
No.
All right, we're getting into the nitty gritty. We're getting into the top two, guys.
oh, the
Whoa,
top two.
this is it.
Top two. Number 2, Dan Connor from Roseanne. Why he made the list, the most realistic dad of the bunch. Dan was broke, tired, and still fiercely loved his family. If you're Gen X, you probably knew a dad like him or had one. I will die on the hill and say that, oh, there's that fruit fly. I almost ate it. Went in my mouth as I
Told
was
you
talking.
protein.
I will die on the hill and say that Roseanne is one of the most realistic sitcoms to ever exist.
Roseanne was really, really,
Obvious-
really, really good.
Obviously exaggerated in certain senses,
Yeah.
but the struggle, like realistic.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
It was all based in reality. It was,
Yep.
Yeah.
it wasn't, DJ drove his car through
No.
through the,
No.
through the
kitchen.
kitchen
Yeah.
or any
It
goofy
was
stuff.
like,
It was all real stuff.
I don't know how to pay my hydro bill, or I don't know how to pay my light
Yeah.
bill. I don't.
My
Or
daughter's got a boyfriend that we hate and this and that. And
She-
How are we gonna
love-
put food on
Yeah.
the table and
Yeah.
stuff like that?
and
Yeah.
like all the different jobs they
Yeah.
did, and like
Yeah.
and Dan was, Dan, like he's he's probably my favorite TV dad.
he was a
I
good
love
one,
Roseanne.
yeah. Because he was just like, he just seemed like a regular dude.
Yeah.
He would do anything for his family, and he did.
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
but he also had tough love, and I think, he is that character is the epitome of the perfect example of a parent in the 80s struggling
Yeah.
with like recessions
Yeah.
and job
Oh,
losses.
100%. Yeah, I think everyone can relate to it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And like him and Roseanne got in like real fights on that show.
Oh my God.
Like
Yeah,
their
yeah.
arguments and stuff, it felt like there was like genuine arguments
Oh,
that,
yeah.
like you could kind of like see like as a kid growing up. It's like, oh yeah, like, this is how parents really
Yeah,
fight.
and they would bicker about things.
Bicker
Oh,
and
yeah.
stuff, but
yeah.
you knew they loved each other and
Yeah.
stuff. But
Like,
they were real. Even the kids would fight with each other,
That
fight with the
show-
parents,
Yeah.
but they all loved each other. And
that
exactly.
show,
Like you never saw like the Seavers fight, like argue like that at all.
no,
No,
that
yeah.
show was just very well cast as well. Because obviously it was her show,
yeah, yeah.
but like the Dan character, like
Yeah.
you would swear they were married in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no,
So-
Dan was a good TV dad.
I think he was a really good TV dad.
So
He
probably
was-
not number one, to be honest. I don't know.
I would put
Thinking
him
about
at
it,
number one.
He was, yeah.
Just because it's the most realistic. Like
Yeah.
all of us sitting here, I can speak for, I think. I mean, I can only speak for myself mostly, but all of us sitting here, if you watched Roseanne, like a bunch of different examples from that show, you could be like, that happened in my house.
Well, I
That's
was just
exactly what
saying, out
happened
of
in my
all
house.
these shows we've talked about so
Yeah.
far, if there's one show that I would say would be closest to my experience growing up would
Yeah.
100% be
Absolutely.
Roseanne.
And
Yeah.
the fact that their house was like, you know, it's a show, but their house still looked like, you know, a middle to lower class house.
It was a nice house, but it was, you know, it wasn't leather couches and big TVs. It was, you know,
that couch is iconic. You know, like
with the not the Afghan, but like
the
that
blanket,
that like hand
it was
knitted.
An Afghan, yeah.
Was it an Afghan? But my parents had one of those.
Yeah,
Everyone had one of those things from somebody. My grandmother made it.
But I think that Eric hit it on the head for me was that in the episodes where they did have fights, like it would be like for me, it'd be like, oh man, I remember, obviously not specific, but like, oh man, I remember my parents arguing like that.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's totally, you could relate to it. It was like, like I said, this is kind of what growing up in my house was.
They were just exhausted and stressed and still had to raise their kids.
You just kind of get, you know, the feeling they're both at the end of their ropes and they're just going at it right here.
Yeah. Well, especially because, like, you know, they both worked. I remember Dan, he was in construction. He did a few different things, but then Roseanne was working. She worked in like a
factory.
Factory.
She worked in a factory. She sold magazine subscriptions. She worked in a fast food place.
The diner and he had all the great characters now too. But I forgot George Clooney was on there for a while.
That was sort of his.
What was the guy? I can't remember his name, but he was hilarious. So it was on. It was Leon.
Yeah, he was.
Oh, funny. I forget his name now. The actor. He was great. Martin Mull.
But then his boyfriend was funny too.
Oh, that's right, the older guy.
What's his name?
Oh, geez.
No, not the old. The guy. He's been on a lot of stuff.
Oh, Fred Willard.
Yeah, he was funny too. Didn't he just die?
I think he might have.
I think like a couple. Like, it was like the recent past, like 2020ish.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I watched The Conners when it came back, and one of the things I can say,
is it still?
No, it's not. One of the things I can say about The Conners is that when it came back, I was like, oh man, it's just not gonna. Clearly, it's not the same because it doesn't have the like 80s, 90s feel, right? It's modern day. But they did a really good job of keeping the same struggles, the same, it was, I thought it was good. I mean, then they got rid of Roseanne.
It all went sort of off the rails there. But
can somebody kill this fruit fly? Because I'm about, like, I keep almost swallowing
I didn't see it. So.
I think you're crazy. I haven't seen a thing.
Maybe I'm crazy. But yeah, I would say Dan Connors.
And shout out to John Goodman. That guy is amazing. I don't know if anyone's watched, like, just watch. We're done with the Righteous Gemstones. Like, he's still killing it, man.
Oh yeah,
like he's great.
Oh, remember that movie he was in? I love that movie.
Big Lebowski. He's
not
classic.
That movie. The movie where he became like rich or something.
Big Lebowski's great. But
King Ralph.
I love that movie.
Yeah,
it was so good.
But John Goodman. He's been in so many great movies, and like I said, just recently finished with The Righteous Gemstones. Like
worth the watch if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, he's still killing it.
All right,
shout out to John Goodman. That guy's amazing.
My vote is that he should be number one. I love that show. I would rewatch that show over and over and over again.
Well, speaking of which, who is
this
number one?
We need the drum roll.
According to the Google search.
Okay.
We're all talking over each other.
I know. I don't know. According to Google, I don't know. Whatever. Uncle Phil, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Why he made the list? Lawyer, judge, protector, and emotional powerhouse. Uncle Phil wasn't just a dad to his kids. He became a father figure to Will and to all of us. That why don't he want me man scene, instant tears every single time.
Why don't he want me?
God damn you, Beverine.
I know. That was their very special episode.
Yeah. That was a good one.
I thought the very special episode was when he accidentally drugged Carlton.
Oh, that was another one.
There was that one too, yeah.
But no, Uncle Phil was a good dad.
Oh, he was great. Uncle Phil, he was right. James Avery, right? His name?
James Avery,
I just think it wasn't as realistic as, say, like Dan Connor. Because he was like
it was a totally different. He was like a judge, wasn't he?
He was
a lawyer, a judge, so it was obviously there's a wealthy family that
But he did take Will in, even though Will was a little punk. And drove Uncle Phil crazy.
Yeah, no, that was great. That's another show that I watched religiously. I'd watch every episode.
I love that show. Uncle Phil, he had some like cool moments too, though. Like, he was like. Also, he could be the cool dad when he needed to be.
Really?
Yeah. Remember like when Will got hustled at the pool hall.
Yeah.
No, I don't remember.
And Phil shows up and he acts like, I don't know how to play pool. He's got them all convinced.
And certainly gets Jeffrey, give me Lucille.
I love Jeffrey.
And he pulls out his own pro pool.
Lucille?
I think that's what he named it.
Yeah.
Isn't that the battering thing?
It is, but that's also the name of B.B. King's guitar. So
exactly. So he pulls out his Lucille, his own professional pool cue, and then he hustles the hustler.
It's like the color of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Uncle Phil was good. I remember him being really frustrated a lot. He would always hoof out the friend.
Oh, Jazz. Yeah.
Oh, my God. That was good. Always tossing Jazz at the window. Like, hey.
No, it was a good show. Like I said, I watched it religiously from
Jeffrey,
start to finish.
I love Jeffrey.
He was good. Yeah, the butler.
Yeah. There was a little quiet digs.
Carlton was annoying.
I was
Like, he was good
He
character.
was
Like,
supposed to be annoying.
he
Yeah.
was. Like, the character was supposed to be that. They
Yeah.
did a
Yeah.
good job of that. But yeah, it was.
Yeah, that was really well cast. That's the one. I remember halfway through they changed out the mom, right? Or maybe
Yeah.
after the first
It was the
season.
first couple of seasons because apparently, well, no, that was a whole thing I read online. I don't remember the
There's some
truth
sort
of it.
of
But there wasn't. So the whole, like, everybody was saying it was because Will Smith and her didn't get along. But I remember reading later it
Yeah.
wasn't that. That was just the narrative that was going around.
Oh, okay. No, I do remember it coming up because they reunited, didn't they?
There was
They
a documentary that, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They got reunited and kind of mended the fences.
Yeah.
But
'Cause
I
they-
liked the first mom better.
Me too.
She
Me
was
too,
like
actually.
just a little bit
Yeah.
She
more
had
sassy.
some sass
Well,
to
just
her.
a different.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that was a great show. And
Yeah.
Hillary and
Ashley.
Oh, yeah.
That is where the whole like anxiety dance started from, was when, you know, that scene when she's in her room with her headphones on dancing and then
That's right.
Will's
Will
behind
comes
her
in
and
and
starts dancing.
with her. Yeah.
That's where the whole anxiety. And so recently Will Smith and what's her name?
Tatiana
Ali.
right, or
Yeah.
something like-
They
yeah.
did a TikTok redoing it now.
That's
it was
amazing.
so
That's
funny.
hilarious.
I actually, fun fact, I don't know if you knew, but Tatiana Ali had a brief little musical career.
I
I did
And
know
she
this.
opened up for NSYNC, and I was at that concert.
And you saw her perform?
Yeah, I did.
whoa.
Whoa,
Don't
wow.
remember much, but I saw her perform.
I can't name any of her songs, but I remember
No,
she.
I do remember her.
Yeah.
And I used to have the biggest crush on Will Smith.
Yeah. I can see that.
The Men in Black bad boy
I think,
era.
yeah, I was gonna say, I think you talked about this before. The Men in
Just
Black.
in case they didn't watch
No,
that
I'm
podcast.
just no. I know. I'm just saying that. Yes,
Yeah.
I remember you said that before. That the Men in Black, Will Smith really spoke to you.
Okay, so whatever. Okay, out of
Kelly
the
needs a minute. She's getting all red faced.
Oh, she's verklempt.
Will Smith really was my potato.
Whoa.
you guys are so annoying.
Whoa.
Okay, listen for a second though, so we don't lose our viewers because we
Oh.
stopped talking about what we were talking about.
Yeah.
Yep.
What's next?
So out of those 10,
Yeah.
I would say like all of them, like whatever, like they're all kind of like fine, whatever.
They're all classic
The
dads.
only thing, hold on, I'm gonna get my list. I threw it on the floor. The only thing that I would say,
Threw it on the ground.
I mean, the top 5 for me is pretty good. The only thing I would do is I think I would swap Dan and Uncle Phil.
I just really because I think
The realistic factor.
yeah,
And
but-
the relatable factor.
yeah.
I think I would do
Yeah,
that.
Roseanne was definitely one of those shows that stood out immensely as, you know, just sort of being was funny as hell, but super rooted in real life.
And you
Yeah.
felt like that was like your living room sometimes.
Yeah, because all these shows, like the dads, you could really, you know, like some of them were like Danny Tanner was a little more over the top and
Yeah.
or whatever, but like, you know, a lot of me could relate to and as
Yeah.
a, you know,
Yeah,
sort of
exactly.
see things that your dad might do. But they were different, like, you know, like Uncle Phil was like a highfalutin lawyer.
Yeah.
Jason Seaver was like a psychiatrist, and so whereas, you know, that's why you can relate to Dan Cullen. He was a construction guy,
Well,
just
I-
a
I-
blue collar.
I grew up in a house where my parents, I mean, most of my dad, like had a bunch of different jobs in like the 80s and 90s because you just had to work, right?
Yeah. So I was gonna say for us, it definitely. I felt that one definitely would have been the most realistic to like my experience growing up in the 80s.
That's probably the only change I would like really make in that list. I mean, everybody else, the top 5, I would kind of agree with Danny Tanner, but like I don't know who I'd put in his place.
Oh, geez, I don't know. There's
Let me
so
look.
many.
Let me get my list. Hold on.
Well, look at these honorable mentions. I can think of one I'd rather see in this list than Danny Tanner.
Shut up. No way. He's like the worst dad ever.
Who?
You're gonna say Homer Simpson?
Yes.
Wait.
Homer
wait,
Simpson is
hold
better
on.
than Danny
Are you gonna go
Tanner.
through- are you gonna go
Hold on. Yeah, I'm gonna do the bonus round honorable mentions. I'm just gonna read them off, and then you guys can say if you think that they belong on there. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I have hiccups. Frank Lambert from Step by Step, the blended family dad who made it work. Martin Crane from Frasier, grumpy but gold. Homer Simpson, The Simpsons, technically a disaster, but iconic nonetheless. Mike Brady, The Brady Bunch, too perfect maybe, but that perm lives on in our memories. I didn't watch Frasier or The Brady Bunch really.
Frasier's kind of a random one because like his kids were like adults,
Yeah, exactly.
so
He was still
it's
kind
just a
of.
bit of a different. He was funny though.
different dynamic.
I wasn't a huge Frasier fan,
Yeah.
but
Do you really think Homer Simpson was a good dad?
I think so. I think at the deep down, like I think he loved his kids and his family.
yeah.
But like, he's an idiot.
He
That
is.
isn't fun. That's
He's the lovable fool. That's his character.
There's lots of dads like that on this list.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
true,
I mean,
guess.
but he went to the power plant most times. Some days he,
Exactly.
but like he went to the power plant.
That's true. That's
Remember the whole
true.
Lisa, do it for her?
Oh yeah, on the poster at work, right?
So,
Yeah. So like he like clearly loved his family.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough.
Frank
fair enough.
Lambert, Step by Step, that's a show.
That was with the Suzanne.
I don't know. I
Patrick
feel like
Duffy.
that show's very cookie cutter. Like you could,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
nothing makes him stand out.
No, I don't.
Well,
not that. I'm
other
trying
than-
to remember any. Like
No.
I remember watching that
But
show.
I
Yeah.
think they're saying that he was a good TV dad because it was like this whole big blended
Well, that's-
family,
yeah.
right? But like,
Yeah.
woohoo, like, yeah,
Yeah.
either
It was like Brady Bunch, but like in the 90s.
Yeah.
That's basically which,
Yeah.
and then we talked about Mike Brady, the original
Yeah.
blended family.
and then yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't think any of those. Maybe if you guys say The Simpsons, but I don't think any of those four deserve to bump off anybody else on the list.
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't know.
Can I ask, like, you know what, like I do, I ask these deep, heartfelt, thoughtful questions at the end to
Sure.
really get your brains and your heartstrings going.
Let's
Yeah.
go for it.
Who was your favorite TV dad? And why?
Favorite TV dad? I don't know.
Favorite TV dad and why?
You guys are terrible.
Yeah,
at this.
I'm just trying to think. I mean,
I don't know. I think Uncle Phil for me. I thought
Yeah.
he was just a good combination of like stern, fair, and fun, and just like good heart overall.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
No.
everybody wants a rich uncle.
Everybody wants that, and
That's
like,
right,
Yeah,
yeah.
he was. He also like he was fun too. Like he get up there and like dance with his son and Will and
See,
stuff.
I don't remember. I mean, I watch the show a lot, but I remember him just being kind of like uptight.
Yeah, but he had his moments
he
where
had
he
his
like
moments,
loosened
though,
up.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I don't know. I'm sure there's other ones I'm not thinking about. I had to go with Dan Connor. I think.
Yeah, Dan Connor's definitely mine by
Because he
far.
had a ton of fun. Like you say anything, but he was a hard
'Cause it
ass.
wasn't, like,
but he
campy.
would like football, crack his beers.
Oh yeah,
Loved Halloween. I always loved that Halloween episode.
and it just wasn't like campy. But I would say like
Yeah.
Uncle Phil's a good second for sure. Like I would definitely agree that definitely, warm and fuzzies.
Yeah, I think this whole list was good. I don't think there's anyone on here who's like,
No,
there's probably more you could add or something.
Well, I mean, there's
there's
a
so many
million.
shows that I'm
Yeah.
not thinking of, but no, I think this is a good list and kind of covered 70s, 80s, 90s.
I feel like maybe Homer Simpson could replace Al Bundy, but even then, I don't know.
I mean, Homer Simpson's
maybe.
Homer Simpson is more of like it's just like a cartoon version of Al Bundy.
Yeah.
Sort
That's
of
actually
a little
kinda
more
true.
stupidity there,
Yeah.
but kind of that
Yeah,
same
exactly.
All right, that's fair enough. I guess
Yeah.
that's.
I know there's so many TV shows and stuff. Because I know I'm sure we once we start filming, we'll be like, oh, why this is right. It was
Well,
this
I
person,
mean,
that
yeah.
person.
I mean, obviously, it's also going to be like shows that we watch, like shows that we know. I mean, other
Yeah,
than a few
yeah.
on that list, but like random one-off shows that we've never seen. I mean, that's not going to really matter to us because
no,
we
Yeah.
don't.
yeah. You know,
But before we end, I just want to see. I'm sorry, audience. You can just mute for 1 minute. That's fine. I understand. But I want to see if we can sing. I might need help. I need the Fresh Prince. I used to know it off by heart. The
theme song?
Yeah. In West Philadelphia, born
Born
and raised on the playground is where I spend most of my days. Relaxed and all cool, shooting some b-ball outside of school when a couple of guys, they're up to no good, started making trouble in my neighborhood. Got in one little fight, my mama got scared, said we were with your auntie and uncle in Bel Air. I whistled for a cab, and when it came near, the lights were fresh and there was dice in the mirror. If anything, I could say that this cab was rare, but I thought, nah, forget it. Yo, home to Bel Air. I pulled up to the house about 7 or 8. I yelled to the cab, yo, home, smell you later. Looked at my kingdom, I was finally there, to sit on my throne as the Prince of Bel Air.
If you're still listening after this, we appreciate it.
Yeah, that was,
I really just needed to try that because I used to know that off by heart. It was amazing.
we need auto-tune.
Yes,
It's
if
fine.
you're still listening, thank you for hanging out with us after
I
this.
wasn't trying to sing it. I was just trying to say it.
Also, I was going to say, but Jill Taylor.
Who?
Oh,
The mom from
one-
Jill.
Mom, Jill. Yes,
I've
was
been thinking the
like,
whole time
who?
about it. What the hell is her name? Jill Taylor.
That's
Yes.
such a random name. I never would have thought of Jill.
Right? Tim and Jill Taylor.
that's
Jill.
right. Yes,
That's right.
As soon as
Such a
you
weird
tell him,
name.
like, that's it. That's
I
the
was just
mom.
like,
I was
what?
trying to bug him what the hell the mom's
Yeah,
name was from
that's
Tool
it.
Time or
All right.
Home Improvement.
All right, guys, comment below. Let us know your favorite TV dad. We would love to hear from you
Absolutely.
and your thoughts and your opinions. But that is it for today's episode. We thank you so very much for joining us, and we will see you in the next one.
Take care, everybody.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
guys.